Hi everybody! Today we'll be talking about teen pregnancy. So, wait, what is teen pregnancy and why should I listen to you? It's important to learn about this now rather than later. Teen pregnancy is a female being pregnant under the age of 20, sometimes younger, like around 12. This type of pregnancy isn't an uncommon occurrence due to how many babies are born each and every year, because teens need to release themselves of what they need to do. To prevent this, people need to use protected sex, also described as safe sex. What exactly is safe sex? Well, safe sex is more like using condoms to protect against STDs, and so on and so forth. And it's basically protecting yourself from any viruses, infections, and getting pregnant for females. And so, what are the physical risks of teen sex by pregnancy? Well, the physical risk is that it can destroy your life if you're working, and it can disrupt the flow of what they were achieving towards to. So let's say, for example, they were at least in college, they were having a sexual drive. They would need to have a little efficiency on where to have it and where not to have it. But they can have like a quick so they can get back to work. But for females, that's kind of difficult because I know I'm referencing to females a lot, but it's just females have the potential to be pregnant if they have sex or unprotected sex, as well as getting STDs. And now you're probably wondering, what is STDs? STD stands for sexually transmitted diseases, and there's also another form which is STIs, which is sexually transmitted infections. Those two are completely different terms, yet they use the same functions. STDs are where it's like you get like, let's say for example, genital warts. It irritates the vagina and or on the mouth or something. STIs is infections, as the previous said. So basically, STIs has like viruses that can turn into diseases, and it can cause cervical cancer as well sometimes. So the next thing is, why does teen sex result in guilt and anxiety? Well, if you plan on having a family early on in life, I say go ahead. But the important thing is that if you're gonna be in a relationship, you should wait for it before you start a family, like around your 20s or something, not in your teens. It usually results in guilt and anxiety because the guilt means that you weren't ready for a family, you weren't ready to explore new paths that were open to you by doing that action. I'm not saying don't stop doing it, I'm just saying you can at least be a little safer. The rate has dropped significantly, and oh, but some teens consider this as a flow to have sex, but it's not really a flow if you're gonna get guilt because if you're feeling guilty of the action you did, you're not going to be able to succeed in further future relationships. Anxiety comes into play after sex. I mean, people before and after, before and during, or like happy, proud, excited. But after that, it's like the nervous, this anxiety is saying that it can prevent sexual things happening because you don't want them to happen due to this anxiety. It's basically saying it's bad to have anxiety, which I'm not saying it is, but if you can't perform correctly, it's probably better to stay away from it until you're actually ready. And that's called abstinence. Abstinence is staying away from sex and being a virgin most of the time. Well, you're a virgin anyways when you began your life. So, basically saying that with this anxiety and guilt, you may not proceed to further relationships due to the previous one you had. And if that happens, then you can't perform correctly. There's some things that need to be handled when you're going against STDs and STIs. If your partner tells you that he or she has STDs or STIs, they need to get tested. Both of you do. Because if they tell you after you two have sex, then it's best to get a doctor's appointment and see if you're safe or not. It's possible to get it if you're both unaffected, but that can happen because someone else might come along. I'm just saying this for example. So let's say number 1 and number 2, they have sex. Number 3 comes along, they have STDs. While they're on break, well, number 1 and 2 on break, number 1 and 3 have sex, and that transfers STDs over to number 1 from number 3. So 3 leaves, and number 1 and number 2 has stopped the break, and they have sex. But the important thing is, you need to get it tested as soon as possible if you have STDs, or STIs, for that matter. Teens usually have a sexual active drive to get rid of their sexual needs. And it's important to teach those kids how, or at least kids my age, teens, that sex can change your life, can change any aspect. And to be honest, as long as you're safe and you're trying, I'd say go for it, but at the same time, I'd say be careful. See you next time.